Hi there and welcome back. In this video we're looking at importing our own files. Importing just means allowing a file we're currently working on to use code defined in some other file. And we've done this with the JSON module in the last video. And that just meant getting the code in that module available for us to use. Now it's time to import code that we ourselves have written. That way we'll be able to split our programs into multiple files, and that's of course going to help because our program will have better organization, and when it comes to changing it and improving it, it's going to be a bit easier. Let's start by creating a new file inside our PyCharm project. I've created a new PyCharm project here, and I'm going to call it file operations. So that's file underscore operations. Remember, don't put any spaces in file names. That's a recipe for disaster in pretty much any computer, but especially when working with Python. Now, inside this file, we're going to write a couple of functions. One to save some content to a file, and the other one to read some content from a file. So save to file, the content we want to write is going to be the first parameter, and the file name is going to be the second parameter, and all it's going to do is use a context manager to open the file and then write the content. And then read file is going to be pretty similar. It's going to take the file name, and it's going to use a context manager to open the file and read the contents out fully as a single string and return them. Now, I think you can implement this knowing what you know already. And if you have to look at the code for the section, make sure to not look at the imports project, which is also available on GitHub, but look at the other files we've already written and then implement these functions using what you already know. Don't copy and paste code, just type it out. And once you've done that, come back to the video and we shall continue. I hope you managed. All we have to do is use a context manager to open the file name in write mode. And then what we're going to do is say file.write content. Oh, sorry, of course you need as file in there in order to have a variable. This is optional, by the way, but then you don't have anything pointing to whatever you've opened, and then you cannot write to it if you don't have a variable that points to open. Then, of course, for the reading, we're going to do open of file name, but this time in reading mode. And what we're going to do is return file.read. Notice how this is not going to give us the lines or anything like that, but this is going to be one long string that could contain things like this. See? Now, if we wanted lines after it, we can split on the \n. Dot split on \n is going to give us something like this: Rolf, Charlie, and so forth. So this is going to give us one long string. We can then split it into lines if we want. If your file is extremely long, you may have some problems with reading the entire file at once. But let's forget about this problem for now. So this is some relatively simple stuff. Writing to a file and reading from it. We've already done this. But it's going to be useful as an example to look into importing. And indeed, this is essentially our first library. This library, we're going to import these two files, these two functions, and we're going to